Population collapse due to low birth rates is a much bigger risk to civilization than global warming. These were the bold words of Elon Musk in a tweet on August 2022. It's a striking statement, especially when climate change is often hailed as the most significant threat to our future. But Musk is shedding light on an equally critical issue: the potential collapse of populations due to declining birth rates. Let's imagine a future where the number of elderly people surpasses the young. Schools close because there are no students and the workforce shrinks too much to support the economy. This scenario is unfolding in countries like South Korea and Japan, and we clearly see that it is set to become a norm across the globe. This is the silent crisis of not overpopulation, but underpopulation, a phenomenon that could reshape our world in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Let's be honest, for most of our lives, concerns about underpopulation were virtually unheard of, and the dominant narrative was one of overpopulation, a fear that Paul Ehrlich's book, The Population Bomb, popularized with his dire prediction. He was inspired by environmentalists David Brower and Jan Ballantine of Ballantine Books, and warned of an imminent crisis, a global population explosion that would outstrip the world's ability to produce enough food, leading to widespread famine and environmental collapse. He advocated for immediate and drastic measures to curb population growth. During that era, much of the developing world was indeed experiencing a population boom. Many countries saw their population swell, fueling fears of overpopulation and influencing policies and discussions for decades. However, as we approached the turn of the century, something unexpected began to happen. Population growth rates started to decline, and by around 2015, this trend became even more pronounced worldwide. To illustrate the point, let's get the facts straight. A total fertility rate (TFR) of 2.1 children per woman is generally considered the minimum needed to sustain a population. Most Western countries are well below this threshold. For instance, the US has a TFR of 1.66, and as of 2024, even India, the world's most populous country, has slipped below this replacement rate, recording a TFR of 2.0 and trending even lower. While having many children is still a norm in Africa, the trend is also pointing downward. The total fertility rate in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a country cited as one of the engines for global demographic growth, is 5.5 children per woman according to the 2023-2024 DHS. That's still high, but it represents a decline from 6.2 recorded 6 years ago. During the 2010s, several countries such as Congo and Niger posted fertility rates around 6, but as we enter the mid-2020s, none did. Meanwhile, some African countries like Lesotho have even dipped below the replacement rate. I have been talking to experts and diving deep into papers and reports to find out the factors that drive this decline. Several of them play a major role, namely increased education and workforce participation for women, better access to contraception and vaccination, and urbanization. Urbanization plays an especially significant role, as we see in countries like the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Urban areas have much lower TFRs compared to rural regions. Imagine a farmer who sees children as labor assets on farms. At least it's true for a vast majority of farmers. And now he moves to an urban area, and suddenly the child becomes an expensive luxury, requiring substantial investment in education. As a result, global population projections suggest that the world population will peak at around 9.7 billion by 2064 and decrease to 8.8 billion by 2100. Countries like Japan and Spain, with fertility rates of 1.3 and 1.2 respectively, are expected to see their populations halve by 2100. While these figures indicate the global population still has years of growth left, UN projections based on our current fertility rates are constantly being revised downward, suggesting we may reach peak people even sooner. Now, imagine we reach the time when a population starts shrinking. Societies will face dramatic aging, the number of people over 80 years old will soar, raising concerns about who will pay taxes, provide healthcare and care for the elderly. In Japan, a country that has resisted immigration, the effects are already palpable. On average, 450 schools closed each year, and between 2002 and 2020, nearly 9,000 schools shut down. If you have seen Children of Man, you will recall its bleak world, where no children have been born for 18 years. leading to societal collapse and despair. While fictional, it powerfully illustrates the dangers of a world without new generation. Musk's tweet echoes this message. Declining birth rates aren't just about fewer babies. They could signal the unraveling of civilization itself. An aging population unable to sustain economy, care for the elderly, or drive innovation could potentially lead to a slow societal breakdown. A more vivid example, China, once focused on curbing overpopulation through its one-child policy, now faces the opposite challenge, declining fertility rates. Not surprisingly, or maybe surprisingly, under President Xi Jinping, the government has repealed the policy and is actually encouraging more births. However, modern challenges including financial burdens and the restrictive hukou system, which ties social benefits to one's birthplace, make it difficult for young people to start families. With China's fertility rate at just 1.3 births per woman in 2020, the government is pushing for significant changes. At the annual CPPCC meeting, political advisors proposed over 20 recommendations, including subsidies for first-time parents, expanded free public education, improved access to fertility treatments, and measures to enhance work-life balance. Some proposals even involve limiting online gaming time to encourage family growth. Moving westward, European countries, especially Eastern ones, have also been reluctant to increase immigration. Hungary, under Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, famously built a border wall to keep out Syrian migrants during the 2015 refugee crisis. Driven by a desire to preserve ethnic identity, Hungary has implemented policies to boost birth rates, including tax breaks, subsidies, and fertility clinics. These efforts initially raised fertility rates from 1.2 in 2011 to 1.6 in 2021, but recent data shows the increase has stalled. Demographer Csaba Toth notes that while government interventions can have measurable impact, ingrained societal norms make long-term change difficult. Despite pro-family policies, Hungary's population is projected to decline from 9.6 million to 8.5 million by 2050. So it seems Hungary needs to find new solutions. With a tight labor market, the government is considering immigration to address workforce shortages. Though this is seen as a temporary solution. As competition for immigrants grows, countries may offer more incentives. I know that these days talking about competition for immigrants might sound a bit crazy. Trust me, it's on the horizon, and I will dive deeper into it in future videos. On a positive note, environmentalists argue that population decline could ultimately benefit the planet by reducing strain on ecosystems. Population decline could ease pressure on Earth's resources, offering environmental benefits by reducing humanity's devastating impact on global ecosystems. However, figures like Elon Musk see falling birth rates as a major threat, warning that fewer workers and consumers could lead to economic stagnation and societal collapse. Some experts share this concern, arguing that fewer young people could slow innovation and moral progress. Musk, focused on humanity's long-term survival, believes population growth is crucial, not just for sustaining civilization, but for expanding humanity beyond Earth to avoid extinction from potential global catastrophes like pandemics or asteroid impact. While Musk's vision is far-reaching, it contrasts sharply with the environmental perspective that views population decline as a potential solution to the planet's ecological crisis. Let's face it, for decades, as the human population doubled, wildlife population plummeted by an average of 69%, and we have altered at least 70% of Earth's land, driving countless species to the brink of extinction. The loss of biodiversity is not just tragic, but also threatens the very ecosystems that sustain human life. Reducing the human population could help restore balance, protect biodiversity, and create a more sustainable future, which ironically could mean more humans once again. Getting back to the main question we posed in this video, I have to say, we are no longer facing a population boom, but rather a population doom, as no government to date has successfully managed to curb the declining birth rates. This trend could be beneficial for the environment, reducing strain on ecosystems and slowing resource depletion. But could it also be beneficial for humans financially? History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. After the Black Death ravaged Europe in the 14th century, the drastic population reduction unexpectedly boosted workers' leverage and financial standing. With few people to labor in the fields and workshops, workers became scarce and valuable resources. They were able to demand higher wages and better working conditions, fundamentally shifting the balance of power between labor and capital. In a similar vein, today's shrinking populations could lead to labor shortages, making workers more valuable and potentially driving up wages. This could also lead to a collapse in property prices as homeowners pass away, resulting in an oversupply in a market. This shift could empower workers, improving their financial situation and quality of life, much like in post-Black Death Europe. Ironically, this might encourage larger families. While increasing actual birth rates has proven stubborn, there might be other ways to address the problems caused by population decline, such as artificial intelligence. Returning to East Asia, Japan is already employing artificial intelligence as part of its Society 5.0 plan to restructure its economy. AI is making a difference in various sectors. For example, Osaka Osho, a Japanese dumpling company, uses AI-powered cameras to inspect products, reducing manpower by 30% and doubling production speed. Similarly, AI tools are helping Japan's aging farming industry by diagnosing crop issues and increasing efficiency in the face of declining numbers of farmers. AI is also being used to address shortages in other areas, such as education. In response to lack of English teachers, an AI-powered conversation tool has been introduced in schools to help students practice the language. Additionally, AI is helping local governments like Yokosuka City automate administrative tasks, saving thousands of work hours annually. Japan has long been a leader in automation and robotics, integral to its post-war economic success and boasting some of the highest robot density in the world, even featuring a cafe with robot waiters. Thus, continued innovation, synchronization between people, robots and AI could be a solution to economic problems if convincing people to have larger families proves too challenging. Our response to these demographic shifts could unlock unprecedented opportunities for innovation and progress. Remember, humanity has faced near extinction before. Around 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano eruption in Indonesia triggered a global catastrophe. The resulting volcanic winter drastically reduced the human population to just a few thousand individuals. Even against overwhelming odds, our ancestors survived, paving the way for moments like this, where challenges test our resilience and adaptability once again. Today's challenges, while different, require the same resilience. Just as we overcame near extinction in a distant past, we have the potential to turn this population crisis into a moment of profound transformation. The choices we make now will shape the future of humanity. We're all in this together, so will we. Yes, that includes both you and I. Rise to the occasion and do your bit, as we did before. If you have something to add, share your opinion in the comments. If you found this exploration insightful and want to stay informed about critical issues shaping our future, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us bring these important stories to life and ensures you never miss an update. Join our community and be part of the conversation shaping humanity's path forward.